What's the single biggest thing that stops people from reaching their long-term financial goals? It's usually not a lack of a dream. It's that terrifying empty space between the dream and what you're actually supposed to do this week. Today, we're examining a strategy designed to build a bridge right across that gap, the golden path to financial independence. We're going to break down a really practical 5-stage framework. Think of it as a bridge that turns a huge, kind of scary vision into a simple, concrete action plan that you can actually start this Monday. I mean, just picture that. You've done the hard work, you have this beautiful 15-year vision, but then it's Monday morning and you are just frozen. That feeling of paralysis, that's the exact problem we're going to solve today. And it's so common, it actually has a name. It's called the vision to reality gap. A good way to think about it is like standing at the bottom of a huge canyon. Your dream life is way over on the other side. It looks so impossibly far away that the fear of the crossing just stops you dead in your tracks. Now, this framework we're looking at was developed by the architect of the entire strategy, Tamir Kaham, and what makes his approach so powerful is this unique blend of two different worlds. On one hand, you've got the precision of modern systems engineering, and on the other, the timeless financial wisdom from classics like The Richest Man in Babylon. Tamir is also the creator of this 5-stage action framework specifically to act as the bridge across that vision to reality gap. So, who is this really for? Well, if you know where you want to go, but you feel completely and totally lost on how to get there, this is for you. It's a guide for anyone who wants to move from being dependent on a salary to actually owning their assets, and more importantly, owning their time. Okay, first we have to make a really critical distinction. We are not talking about getting wealthy here. We're talking about financial independence. FI isn't about having millions in the bank. It's just about having enough passive income to cover your desired lifestyle. That's a specific, achievable goal. That comes first. Wealth? That can come later. So how do we actually cross that gap? We do it with this, the 5-stage bridge. It's a really clear path that takes you from a fuzzy, vague dream all the way down to a concrete to-do list for this week. You'll see how each step gets more real and more actionable. To make this all feel a bit more tangible, let's follow a case study. We'll call her Sarah. She's 35, and she's set a 15-year timeline to reach financial independence. We're going to use her journey to walk through each stage of this bridge. All right, stage 1 is all about turning a vague dream into a structured vision. See, a dream is just a feeling, right? I want to be free. You can't build a plan around a feeling. A vision, on the other hand, is a detailed specification. For Sarah, it's living in a coastal town working 10 to 15 hours a week by choice. Now that is a target. That's a coordinate you can actually aim for. And because her vision is so specific, we can move to stage 2, concrete goals. This is where we shift gears from imagination to math. Sarah does the numbers and figures out that her ideal lifestyle, the one she just described, costs about $2,500 a month. That becomes her passive income goal. And here's the absolute key. It's based on the life she wants to live, not her current salary or expenses. Look, a 15-year goal is just way too big for our brains to process. It feels impossible. That's why stage 3 is all about milestones. Think of them as little brain checkpoints. For her first year, Sarah's only milestone is to reach an FI index of 0.05. That index is just your current passive income divided by your goal. So for her, 0.05 is just $125 a month. It sounds so small, right? But psychologically, getting that first win is everything. It proves the concept. It proves the system works. And that brings us to the most critical part of all, stage 4. This is where we turn those milestones into weekly actions. This is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, if the end goal is total freedom, what does the journey actually look like in those first few weeks? Well, here's the unglamorous, unsexy reality. Week 1 for Sarah, map out all her spending. Week 2, build a conscious budget. Week 3, open a dedicated savings account. Week 4, read one financial book. Let's just be honest, this is incredibly boring stuff. There is no Hollywood training montage here, and that is exactly why most people quit. And this really gets to the core thesis of this entire strategy. The real magic isn't going to be in some secret stock pick or some flashy investment. It's in the aggregation of boring admin. It's the consistent week after week execution of these small, unexciting tasks that eventually compound into real, lasting freedom. Of course, no plan ever survives contact with reality, right? And that's where stage 5 comes in, the execution loop. Think about a rocket flying to the moon. It's actually off course, like 99% of the time, and its guidance system is just constantly making these tiny little corrections. Your weekly and monthly reviews, that's your guidance system. These are non-negotiable appointments with yourself to make those small course corrections and stay on track. And practicing that discipline creates a massive identity shift. You stop being a passenger in your own financial life, just kind of hoping the plan works out. You become the pilot. You're the one regularly checking the instruments, making the corrections, and steering the ship. That's the huge shift from an employee mindset to an asset owner mindset. So where does this 5-stage bridge fit into the bigger picture? Well, it's basically the engine that drives the entire golden path strategy that you see here. This larger map has 13 steps in total, and our 5-stage framework is what turns all of that theory into real-world action. And see that continuous learning step? Think of that as the guidance system that runs in parallel to everything else you do.
Okay, let's make this real for you right now. I've got a 50-minute challenge for you. Sometime this week, I want you to block out about an hour. Spend 15 minutes writing out your structured vision, then 10 minutes choosing one concrete goal, 15 minutes to define a few milestones, and then the last 10 minutes deciding on one single thing you are going to do this week.
And that's it. That is your entire focus. The point here is not to solve your entire financial life in 1 week. The point is to break the paralysis. It's to prove to yourself that you can move from thinking to doing. That first step, no matter how tiny it feels, that is everything. And of course, just a quick but important reminder that all of this is for educational purposes. It's not personalized financial advice, and any success really depends on your own execution and your own situation. You should always consult with qualified professionals. So let's just recap really quickly. The vision to reality gap, that's where dreams go to die. The 5-stage framework is the bridge you build to get across it. Remember that true success is found in the aggregation of boring admin, and your only goal this week is to break the paralysis with one single action. If you want to dive deeper into this and see some of the visual frameworks that really make it click, I highly recommend you check out the source material on the YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence. Just search for the handle @Tamir Gold Path. It's a fantastic resource for breaking this whole system down. You know, the path to freedom isn't built with one giant heroic leap. It's built with 1,000 small, boring, consistent, and incredibly powerful steps. The only question left is, what's your first step going to be this week?